Welcome to episode 15 of the Breaking Bio podcast, which is finally on the road. I'm your host, Stephen Hamblin from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. And today is January 25th.
Hi, I'm Lauren Reid, a science communicator based in Glasgow in Scotland.
Hi, I'm Morgan Jackson. I'm a PhD student of entomology at the University of Guelph in Canada.
Hi, I'm Rafael Maya, University of Akron, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Tom Housley. I'm a PhD student at the University of Stirling in Scotland.
So let's lead off with a topic that exploded over the internet and it enraged pretty much every academic I know, which was the Forbes article on professors being the least stressful job in the world.
Totally true. I'm the most relaxed person you'll ever meet, and I think Tom is second proof of that.
Well, neither of us are professors, so...
So the backstory on this was that Forbes published an article it was a few days ago now. Yeah, about a week.
Months.
Week and a half.
Months. I know it seems like that on the internet, but
Seems like forever.
yeah, but it was an article detailing the least stressful jobs in 2013, I believe it was, and the writer of the article, who actually caught more flack than I think she deserved because she was just parroting another source. The source itself never got any crap for this, but it was this career website or some such that published this survey saying professors have the least stressful jobs. And so she wrote an article for Forbes, and everybody noticed it and got pissed off. And it flooded the internet.
Well, at least the academic circles of the internet. I doubt most of the other people even noticed, but there were a whole lot of pissed off academics going around.
The echo chamber was echoey.
But the interesting part of it to me was that it seemed to replicate some of the ways that people think about academia. It just seems to be full of stereotypes that came from the outside. And of course, we're not the only job to have that.
No, again, I do agree with Stephen. I think it actually is just a lot of people that aren't in the system don't really understand all the different responsibilities that professors have, nor how their jobs are funded or the responsibilities they need to do to make sure they have a job the next week.
And the crazy, mind-blowing, cutthroat competition.
Yeah,
goes especially with like funding rates that are 10% and going down, and so
I haven't read the article. I mean, was this an absolute sort of rating of jobs? Was there loads and loads of? Was it all the jobs or just?
It was a very offhand
survey.
sort of article where it's just kind of saying, hey, if you want to take a less stressful job, there's a survey, and it said that university professors that's the least stressful job, and then it sort of went into a few reasons why, which had all been essentially made up. And at no point did the person writing the article think, I wonder whether this could be incredibly offensive to university professors if I'm just claiming that it's the easiest job of all time, and maybe I should ask one to just be sure.
Yeah, there was a bit in there that I really liked. It was incredibly funny about them. Yeah, here it is. University professors answer to themselves, says the publisher of this survey. They are basically kings of their own fiefdoms.
which makes all of us serfs, essentially.
Yeah.
that part is kind of true.
I mean, yeah, sure, it feels like that to the grad students, but
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I think we're stressing out Lauren because she doesn't have any notes.
I'm just quickly reading up on it. I just read the last bit, which says, though hairstylists make the lowest salary on the list, they are among the happiest, says Lee. Their colleagues and clients tend to become friends, and they get lots of positive feedback and thanks for their work. So
Well, it has this little database that it uses where it says 11 different job demands that are likely to provoke stress, and they include things like competitiveness, physical demands, hazards, and environmental conditions. And I guess, maybe there's not many hazards to being a university professor, but
yeah, I guess for biologists, like, you can check all of those, right?
Yeah.
Hazardous conditions, check. Chemicals that can kill you, check.
Animals that can kill you, check.
Yeah.
No, seriously, when I got here, I had to do 3 days of OH&S training, occupational health and safety. And, I had to fill in all the hazards associated with my job, which included things like sticking a fork in a wall socket and getting electrocuted.
Maybe, Australia should just teach their people not to do that earlier. I think the
but
rest
then
of
it
the
wouldn't
world
be
is
Australia.
So that's what's keeping the population down. All right. Oh, Australia. Now, to the credit of the writer of the article, she did later go back and say, oops. Yeah. I think that was after the real Forbes professor hashtag took off, and it was circulating everywhere with, people talking about how unstressful their jobs were.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. Some of them were really, really good comments, and by good I mean mostly depressing. But like a couple of the ones were very biting and really hit home with what some of the stresses that being a professor or in academia in general really entails.
It's even funny from our perspective, from the PhD students' postdoc perspective. We can even see this happening to them. Like, we can see the stresses with their job, but we don't know them yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know my PhD advisor, when he was talking to me one day, he said, look, the one thing, of all the things I learned in my post-grad career as a postdoc, the one thing they never taught me was how to run a lab.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets there the first day, and he's suddenly responsible for all this administration. He has to deal with all this money. He has to get equipment, have a lab. Like, he has to do all these things that he was never trained for. And now he was finding it incredibly stressful. Right? And when he told me this, he'd been at it for 20 years. Like, he'd gotten well over it. But he was just pointing out that this can be really difficult, and you're never told how to do it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's one of the main things in like grad school. Like, it's not really a career training, they don't really prepare us for a lot of stuff that we have to deal with. They're just like, sit there, do some reading, just come up with some research and write it all up at the end, and that's it, you're a scientist. It's like, it seems to be like, it kind of is a lot more to it, that we really kind of have to learn hands-on with the shitstorm in our heads.
So maybe this article's actually been quite a good thing, because I think being a professor, how people outside of academia, what does that really mean to them, being a professor? It probably does seem like the easiest job in the world. You just think and write stuff. Awesome, get paid loads of money for it. People don't know all the sort of competition and the funding issues that most people in academia have to go through. So maybe this has been a good thing.
Well, I think it's very enlightening. If you think about it, if you think about some of the top professors that are in the media, like the fictional ones, you've got like Bruce Banner, Indiana Jones, and then Mrs. Robinson. Those are
Professor Brian Cox. He seems to have a pretty easy job.
I think he is fictional.
Yeah, it's debatable.
No real professors have hair that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we always say this about science, how science is usually portrayed only the shiny side in TV and movies and fiction and such like that. But that's amazing, Tom. Wow.
Tom, do it again so I can enlarge your face.
And screen cap it.
Yeah, Tom's holding up his passport right now, which has...
That is so hot.
It's great for the audio version.
Yeah, you look like you're from the Shire. Like,
I was going to say, he kind of looks like Steve Nash, the basketball player, which is a little creepy, but...
No, that's some great hair. But
Sorry,
yeah,
back on track.
no, I think it's true actually. If I'd like to do one of those experiments. So when you ask kids to draw pictures of scientists, right?
Yeah.
You get these results where it's a kind of older looking guy in a lab coat. Maybe you get the occasional woman in a lab coat, which shows how far we've come. But but really, it's either that, or if you ask the public, it's probably some guy in a tweed jacket with elbow patches, and that's all they know.
Well, Lawrence had reminded me about. I went to a workshop in Switzerland a couple of years ago, and I was speaking to David Haig, who's a big deal evolutionary biologist, and he told me that his official title was theoretical evolutionary biologist. And I asked him what that entailed, and he went, "Well, I sit in a big chair and I think."
That's pretty much
So
how
you
I
can
describe
see
myself.
why you can see how the stereotype does manifest itself in members of the public, can't you? Really?
No, I can't. Damn it. Let's move on from the stresses of being a professor. There's something I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, and this is targeted partially at Lauren because she's got a science communicator thing going on, but it's the topic of scientific literacy. Right. I'm on Facebook and I see yet another one of those posts pop up where it's somebody reposting something they've seen. In this case, it was about baby carrots. Right? And the idea, this has been going around for years, this idea that baby carrots are washed in chlorine, and that's what makes them they get that white blush on them, and that's because of chlorine. And so your carrots are killing you, right? Don't eat baby carrots. This was actually the header. Don't eat baby carrots, are a danger to your family.
Man, if baby carrots were going to kill me, I wish they would do it in a much more fun way than that.
Like rise up in the middle of the night and walk out of the
Stabby carrot daggers.
That's how they
That would be a better headline.
Carrots.
The science commuter comes through again.
But there's an actual issue in here, right? So, I mean, the fact that your carrots are going to kill you is a non-starter. Everything in that article is wrong, except for the fact that the carrots are washed with chlorine. But, the chlorine isn't going to kill you. For God's sakes, most of our tap water is chlorinated. The white blush that comes on carrots has nothing to do with the chlorine. It's the fact that the surfaces are dehydrating, right? And, you can prove that yourself by just cutting a carrot and putting it in the fridge. And the same thing will happen. The big problem is baby carrots are just one big cut surface, so they do it faster. Right? And that's the sum total of it. That's the only reason this happens. But going around on the internet is another one of those, something's going to kill you, and it's chlorine, and oh my God, the toxins, and won't somebody think of the children? But
I'm expecting my mum to forward me this in about 3 years.
Hey, I've gotten it from a family member and 2 friends in the last year. Right?
A while ago, there was a series of ads here in the U.S. that tried to sell baby carrots as like a really cool and hip snack. Did you guys ever see this? We had like the kids skateboarding and you pull up some baby carrots,
Lauren and I live in Scotland. Vegetables are never going to be marketed like that at all.
We don't need
That's
vegetables.
some sort of like retaliation from like the Cheetos industry because they try to get their consumer base with baby carrots. So now
so you're trying to say somebody was comparing Cheetos to carrots? They look the same?
No. The ads tried to sell baby carrots like Cheetos ads did. Like showing I don't know, kids BMXing and running skateboards, and they'll put up a bag of baby carrots and start eating because they were so cool. You've never seen this? It's on YouTube. I'll look it up and I'll
just keep hearing baby carrots over and over. Is this real? Are you taking the piss out of me? Let's get Lauren's views on baby carrots.
I'm really worried because the white stuff keeps appearing on my baby carrot.
maybe we should have a qualifier. Do you guys even know what baby carrots are?
Are they small carrots?
Okay. Like, is this a North American thing? Like, maybe this is the new Cheeto revolution. I don't know. It hasn't made it to England yet, but...
What are these carrots that you speak of? And why are they having babies?
So,
For you to explain it for me, Rafael.
this ad is not going to help your...
God.
Right,
Is
so
this
they were
gonna be
trying
an
to
awesome
market
pod-
baby carrots as a cool snack.
Yeah, yeah.
Clearly it didn't catch on.
It's because they're carrots, and carrots are shit.
They're baby. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right. Oh, here we go.
Brought to you by a bunch of carrot farmers.
Indulge the most tasteful of your taste buds.
Baby carrots, baby.
Feel that feeling. You know the feeling.
Overt sexual innuendo.
Indulge the most tasteful of your taste buds.
You already said that.
Oh, baby. Carrots.
Baby carrots.
Now in chic junk food packaging.
Wow.
All right. So that
I
happened.
preferred it when we were all watching that apart from Lauren.
There wasn't even any hummus on those carrots.
Yeah, so there's that. There's a whole series of ads, like, just Google, like, eat them like junk food. There's, like, a whole series.
Well, that's one evening sorted anyway. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so there was actually a larger point somewhere in here before we got off on baby carrots,
Got off on baby carrots.
which was about scientific literacy. All right. The idea that
If that's what we're learning about scientific literacy, then I can see that being effective. But that's not talking about white, crappy stuff on the outside of your carrots. I can see
I
half
know.
the American populace, actually watching that ad and not for the carrots.
I'm just interested by the fact that people can't evaluate these things that they're told. Right? So they hear that baby carrots are killing them with chlorine, and they pass it on uncritically because they don't know how to deal with it. And I'm not blaming them. They don't have the tools. But how do we fix that?
Well, it's not scientific literacy, is it? It's just critical thinking and just not being taught that. No, or even just how to fucking Google Snopes baby carrots.
No, but in all
It may not
seriousness, critical thinking has to be taught from the start, not just by schools, but also by parents. That should just be something that is taught. You don't take everything that you're told as truth. But then it's hard because kids in school are inherently brought up to whatever the teacher tells them is right and not to question it, generally.
See, but I think there is an element, like you're distinguishing the two, critical thinking and scientific literacy, and I think that's good, but I still think there is a required element of literacy here, because if you take critical thinking too far, you get climate change deniers, right, who will never believe the evidence, no matter how much it's presented to them. They'll always question it. They question everything. And so you can get to a point where you don't accept anything. But you need the literacy to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But I think critical thinking inherently includes evidence evaluation as well, rather than just criticizing everything. I think if you're going to be a critical thinker effectively, then you need to be able to evaluate evidence, not just in science, but with other things as well. It's everything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But if you're going to evaluate evidence about scientific topics, you need to have scientific literacy, right?
No, I agree. I mean, it's important to have them both in various moderate commodities or levels. But I think another factor, especially with these things now, is that people, with the ease of sharing them, is they can go viral through communities really quickly and circle back, every 6 months or so. Because it's a lot easier to just share, read it quickly, or read, the first paragraph of it, and then hit the share button on Facebook or whatever, and then suddenly all your friends are exposed to it, and they read the first paragraph of it, and then it doesn't give you the time to sit there and think about it and realize chlorine is in my pool in my backyard, and I've been swimming in it for the last 6 months. That didn't kill me, so why is my carrot suddenly killing me? I think it's just there's that small window of time where they could potentially think about, these ties together. It's just eradicated because as soon as you see something that's, even possibly you think everybody in the world needs to know about because, oh my God, carrots in your fridge, they just hit the share button and away it goes. And that's the last time they think about it. Then the next thing's a cat picture and carrots.
I think my favorite thing is that it's so massively specific. It's not vegetables. It's not just carrots. It's baby carrots.
I'm telling you, it was retaliation.
Yeah, there's something about cognitive psych in there, right? I mean, all of the internet memes like that, they too tend to get very specific. It's baby carrots and whatever the hell else.
Well, the one thing we haven't considered in this is that this whole chlorine baby carrots trying to kill you is actually a retaliation by the Cheetos industry to the commercial we just watched. Maybe carrots were catching on, and the Cheetos were like, our profits are disappearing because of these baby carrot sales. We better start this stupid meme.
I think there's a lot of nutritionists in the U.S. who would disagree with that.
Fair enough.
I don't think baby carrots ever really caught on that way.
But
because of the lies.
Well, yeah. And clearly, given Lauren and Tom's reaction, they never made it across the pond either. Which is, in a way, in a way, it's actually kind of weird because baby carrots were created for kids, like in order to
make them feel like grown-ups. No, it looks like a real full-size carrot in my tiny hand. That's some good thinking by the baby carrot manufacturers.
And then it ended up catching up with adults who thought it was awesome to feel like a giant with a tiny carrot.
Yeah, they're like, look at my hands! I'm huge! I'm a monster!
Perception jokes are your favourite.
Okay. Next time one of you assholes gets to introduce a topic.
No, I actually think it was a brilliant topic. It was really good. But I'm just now hearing baby carrots in Rafael's voice in my head over and over again.
But
on the issue of scientific literacy, I don't know, for some reason that whole phrase just doesn't work. I don't like the sound of it, scientific literacy. That just sounds like a bit of a... It can sound like a bit of a dicky thing to say, can't it?
It does
I think in
line
itself
where,
it's a bit undermining.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, if you call somebody illiterate, they're, usually implying that they're either too dumb to read or too lazy to have learned to read.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's something they've pointed out in relations to math, where people would never say, "Oh, I can't read," but people are happy to say, "Oh, I can't add," like I can't do basic math. But that's almost, they say that with pride, right? I can't do math. Yeah. Math is hard. But if you said, "Oh, I can't read," that would be something completely different. Yeah. So being actually illiterate is a problem, but being numerically or scientifically illiterate isn't.
Yeah, it's different the scales, and I think it's, well, in my utopian universe that I hope we're growing into, I think it's probably going to get better. We've conquered the reading low bar, but now if we could start creeping up on making it so it's not okay to be illiterate with other facts of humanity, whether that's science, whether that's culture, whether that's religion or whatever, then hopefully these are things that we are striving for as a society, and not just, willing to hang back and laugh about baby carrots because we don't understand them.
Well, are they baby carrots, or are they just normal carrots that are very far away?
I think at the end of this, I'm just going to put about 4 minutes of Tom ranking on baby carrots. You got any other material you want to work out on this, Tom?
Okay. I'll keep thinking about it.
Come on next time with an espresso cup. It's not an espresso. I'm a giant drinking a cappuccino.
Oh, baby coffee.
Baby coffee. Now that does cause cancer.
Well, yours have still got the skin and the hair on it. The ones in North America are like shaved baby carrots.
That's sick. You guys are sick. No wonder there's problems.
Those are some overly sexualized carrots. It's too much too young.
When I was coming into work this morning, I thought, what's a safe topic to talk about today? I know, let's talk about baby carrots.
Carrots, one of the most phallic of all the vegetables. You thought that was the safest?
So you're saying I should have gone with broccoli? Like,
oh dear.
I give up entirely.
Let's just blame all the papers. Yeah, all the tabloids. They're to blame.
Have you seen that red pen study going around? This is recent. It's just in the last couple days, but you might see it on Twitter. This is big in education circles. It was a study that was just released, and it's about red pen being used to grade students' work. And if you see it in the press, it'll be something like teachers shouldn't use red pen because it looks like they're shouting at their students. Right? That's
they're not using cap locks.
My advisor does. I don't know.
Then I'd be pissed.
And like, if you go read the original research, it's actually almost completely unconnected to that. Right? They were trying to see, how the evaluation of students' evaluation of how harsh a grading experience was, but it's like the actual findings are just pretty weak to start with, which the researchers admit. They say, look, there's not much in here, right? And we have moderate effect sizes, and it's really only this one color of pen in this one circumstance, and it wasn't even pen because it was actually printed on, right? Like it was computer print. It was not actual handwriting. So, but the disconnect between what the actual study says and the reports in the media,
of it by the press, yeah.
Like it's just one of those really clear examples of, you start with a simple piece of research and it ends up as, oh my God, red pen is going to kill us. Thanks for joining me for episode 15 of the Breaking Bio podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.